All right, get it out of your system.
Told you so.
What'd you tell me?
Told you he's gonna basically walk away, close to walk away.
Who are you talking about?
Diddy.
Close to walk away.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Is it close?
Well, the major one with the forfeiture of his assets is out of the way.
Yeah.
So I would say that's a win.
Definitely a win. RICO dropped. Sex trafficking dropped. But he was convicted on the 2 lower charges: transportation to engage in prostitution.
Which is like, at the height of the cannabis prohibition, it's equivalent to a cop finding an ounce of weed on you and letting you go.
Well, is each count carry a maximum of 10 years?
I think less than that.
Maybe 5?
Yeah.
10 years altogether if the judge decides to go with the max.
But he's a first-time offender and he's got money, so I think
so. Okay. Fingers crossed for those who want Diddy free. Yeah, I mean, come on, man, rub it in. Come on, get it out of your system, buddy.
Honestly, I'm kind of conflicted because in the end, he wasn't in court for beating up his spouse. He was in court for his lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the feds shot high and didn't have enough evidence to throw him away.
Well, I mean, that's what the jury's basically saying.
They messed it up. They spent a lot of money, spent a lot of taxpayers' money on this situation in only to have it fail miserably in their faces.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't look good for the feds, right? It kind of ruins the allure of the feds, them being this entity that's batting 10 for 10. And, for Diddy to come out and beat the RICO is not a good look for them.
It's not what Diddy did it.
Arguably in the biggest pop culture crime case of the last 20 years. So good for Diddy. Absolutely. I knew the amount of praying that he must have been doing leading up to the verdict must have been like an all-out 24/7 session with faith leaders, and so be it. I know a lot of people.
So God answers his prayers.
I mean, shit, yeah, because he was basically facing life. So now with this revelation, he can have a life after prison.
I'm not going to sit here and revel in your defeat, Glory. But
no, revel in it because I would if I was right.
No, but here's the thing. It's a weird situation. It's a nuanced situation. It's a disgusting situation. And
I'm glad you're saying that because a lot of people, I believe, I understand that not you per se, but people who thought the RICO was too much, they're kind of overdoing it in terms of like, free this man, almost celebratory and bring him home. And it's like they're actually really happy and kind of just put out of their mind, what this guy's been pretty much
accused of,
what we've seen,
but not charged.
Not charged, but we know that wasn't the one situation that he's put hands on Cassie. Yeah. If I remember correctly, there was an escort that testified that he saw Diddy beat her.
But this wasn't the charge. This wasn't the case.
I'm not saying the charge. I'm not saying the charge. I'm saying the person.
Yeah.
The person's a monster. And me personally, when it comes to my moral compass, there are certain crimes that even if you beat the charges, is not really a legal thing for me. It's a moral thing. And once you cross that line for me, you're a certain type of person. And I cannot say free that person. Even if they have been vindicated of the charge, you're still a scumbag to me. And I will not...
So,
I will not celebrate a person who did what he did to Cassie. Like, that's crazy.
I want to play devil's advocate here. What are your thoughts on Mike Tyson?
Mike Tyson and...
No, I'm asking you, do Do you put him on a higher? Do you put him on a high pedestal?
Are we referring specifically to the Desiree Washington situation?
Yes.
Because I believe that was a false allegation.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I went to his one-man show and I heard it and I did a little research, and not to mention she alleged someone before Mike Tyson did the same thing.
Oh, really? So she had
so there's a pattern there. So yeah, with Mike Tyson, I feel like he was pretty much forced into a bad situation and was taken advantage of by his handlers. His lawyer was apparently a tax lawyer, not a criminal one.
What?
Yeah, he talks about it in his one-man show. Yeah. Because you got to remember, Don King was like, his OG, his mentor, and like, Don King's the one.
Here's a lawyer.
I know a good guy. Yeah, so it's one of those situations, and at the time, Mike Tyson easily fit the black man stereotype. So it was easy at the time to believe like this guy was this violent, over-sexualized deviant.
All right, what about Tupac?
Isn't that situation sketchy too? Allegedly, like,
but in the end,
I don't. But here's the thing:
the courts found it was suffice enough to convict.
Yeah, but we do know that the courts do get it wrong, right? I mean, you guys are saying the same thing about Tory Lanez, right? The courts got it wrong in that situation, right? So, I mean, Tupac and Tyson are two situations I've always been consistent on where I'm like, I don't know. Tyson, I'm almost sure didn't do what he was convicted of doing.
I mean,
and
Mike Tyson was on top of the world.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, I know, but like, if you really wanted some, play, he could have just got it easy if he wanted to.
Well, here's the thing: when people do stuff like that, it's not about getting it per se. It's about exerting your power. You know what I mean? And control. It's like this weird thing. It's not about the act. It's about domination and having control. And in some cases, some guys get off of people resisting and saying no, and them being able to exert their power and their dominance over another person. I think that was one of the allegations for Diddy. Like he took pride in having control, and one of the rumors was he made allegedly a straight dude give him head behind his desk, and he got off on that. You know what I mean? Not to say that it's true, but
allegedly.
But after hearing about the semen nipples, is like, it becomes more believable in my opinion.
So is it up for Bill Cosby?
Yeah, for Bill Cosby, it's up. Yeah, for Bill Cosby, I believe. The Spanish Fly and what happened there is a legit situation.
Man, I think. Do you think it's the last of this debacle? Of this fall from grace for the superstars?
No, I don't think this is the last of it. But I think black people, if you are tired of seeing your black heroes, in your opinion, being taken down by the system, then start pointing out some of the white heroes that have been involved in debauchery and perversion, and start pointing them out. I did that. A la Paul Walker, I put that story out there, and I got a lot of pushback, but not a lot of people were able to argue against me because it's a fact. But I know amongst a lot of black people in our community, Black Paul Walker is still celebrated. But this is a man that openly dated minors. The person that he ended up marrying was a friend of his daughter's, and the culture still celebrates him.
Yep. Yeah, Ezra Miller's another guy.
Ezra Miller's another one. Yeah.
Bizarre cult rumors in Iceland.
Yep.
Jared Leto has an allegation came out recently.
The Abercrombie and Fitch CEO. Yep,
that guy was running a multinational male prostitution ring.
Absolutely. So black platforms, and I think they have, they've put these stories out there, but I think collectively as a community, the black people haven't latched onto those stories and, amplified those stories. And I think that's part of the problem. When it comes to our Black heroes, we're kind of quick to kind of just, devour it and come up with conspiracy theories and just go full throttle with whatever allegations being made. It happened with Jay-Z when that accuser allegedly, at 13 was... What was her crazy claim?
She walked to the after parties,
and we ate that shit up. And look at the situation now. So a lot of it we have to place blame on ourselves. Because like I said, when that story dropped, people took it and they ran with it. And
do you remember Charlie Sheen situation?
Oh yeah,
how white America just laughed it up. Like, that's our guy. He's funny as hell. Yeah, but he's over here passing HIV to women.
And let's not forget, we currently have an American president that is a felon and a civilly liable rapist. He was rewarded with the presidency. So, Black people, if you are tired of your Black icons being taken down by the system, according to you, start pointing out the white ones and amplifying those stories and sharing those stories and spreading the word. Just a suggestion.